Welcome to Geopolitics Now. It's Tuesday, September 30th. I'm Emma Albright. Today, French political analyst Pierre Haski asks how much influence Donald Trump actually has in trying to bring an end to the war in Gaza.
Voici donc le plan Trump pour Gaza.
So here is U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for Gaza. Gone are the Riviera resorts and futuristic towers he imagined at the start of the year. But is the 21-point plan presented on Monday in Washington realistic or fair? And most importantly, can it bring an end to the tragedy that has been unfolding in this small territory for nearly 2 years? The ordeal of the Israeli hostages and the suffering of 2 million Palestinian civilians? It would take a great deal of optimism to believe so. Trump's plan falls far short of the Franco-Saudi proposal, even though French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot insisted on Monday that it was largely inspired by French ideas, which in reality appear only in point 9 of the U.S. plan. Admittedly, the 21 points do not align with the Israeli government's hardline vision either. Yet a troubling remark from Trump, spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at his side, hinted at a harsher outcome. If Hamas rejects the plan, he said, Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas.
What are the chances of this plan being implemented?
On voit mal quel Palestinien et pas seulement le
They appear
Hamas.
slim. It is difficult to see which Palestinians, not just Hamas, would agree to hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip, as the plan proposes, to an entity chaired by Trump and delegated to former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. The return of the Palestinian Authority, which the Franco-Saudi plan had designated for this role, has been pushed aside. Washington did make some concessions to the Arab leaders who met with Trump last week. There will be no annexation of Palestinian territories, as Israel had threatened, and no expulsion of Palestinians, although the Transitional Authority will retain the power to issue exit permits. But in a concession to Israel, the plan sets no timetable for the withdrawal of the Israeli army from Gaza, unlike the ceasefire negotiated last January, which included a clear deadline.
The real question is whether Trump is a mediator or an active participant.
Avec ce plan en 21 points, le président américain se
This
présente
21-point plan is intended to cast him as an honest broker, to use the familiar phrase. But in 7 months in power, Trump has effectively green-lighted every Israeli escalation, the renewed attacks on Gaza in March, the violence in Iran in June, and the strike on Qatar in September, even if the last was a step too far. Everyone in the region is convinced that Trump could halt the conflict if he chose to. Yet this complex new plan only prolongs the war, which caters directly to the interests of Netanyahu. It would be comforting to believe that this American plan could hasten the end of a crisis now entering its 3rd year. But it is too fragile and one-sided to be truly credible. Even if it were implemented, it has little chance of achieving the two-state solution promised during last week's UN debates on the recognition of Palestine. Ultimately, it is a return to the hard reality of the balance of power.
C'est le retour à la réalité du rapport de force.
Geopolitics Now is a World Crunch production. Automated speech technology was used for Pierre Haski's English voice. If you like this podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you could help us out with a follow, share, and a 5-star rating on your preferred podcasting platform. For more of the best of the international press, delivered exclusively in English, visit us at worldcrunch.com.